Hello dear students, in the last few video lectures we have discussed or we have learnt the chapter Dual Nature of Radiation and Matter. Dual Nature of Radiation and Matter. In the chapter so far we have learnt about electron emission. I'll recall from the very first video of this chapter. We have learnt about the electron emission, types of electron emission. We have learnt about photoelectric effect in detail. We have learnt Lenard's experiment or Lenard's setup for photoelectric effect and his observations. We have learnt Einstein's equation of photoelectric effect, and also we have learnt the laws of photoelectric effect. And in the last video lecture we have we have seen the Einstein's equation of photoelectric effect, which is very important. That equations we are going to use while solving the problem sums. Okay. So the chapter name is Dual Nature of Radiation and Matter. You all know dual nature. Dual means two. It means radiations and matter exhibits two natures. Now which are those two natures? One is wave nature, another one is particle nature. What we have learnt in the chapter ray optics and wave optics. In wave optics especially we have learnt where the light ray is travelling in the form of wave. And which are the phenomena we have learnt in wave optics? There was interference, there was diffraction and polarization. We have learnt other phenomena of light also in the chapter, like reflection, refraction and all this. Okay, so wave nature means how you can differentiate between wave and particle nature. First we will see that, then we will categorize wave and particle nature. Wave means what are the characteristics which comes to your mind when you listen the word wave. Wave means it has certain frequency, we can say. You have learnt this in the first year, PUC first year or 11th class chapter waves. There was a chapter name called as waves, where you have learnt the characteristics of waves. So it has frequency, it has wavelength. Definitely if it has frequency, then wavelength it has wave velocity, it has time period, correct? So these are the few characteristics which should come to your mind when you listen to the word wave. Wave means generally we show it like this, correct? If anyone asks you what is wave, if this was a live class or a classroom, if I was conducting this class in the classroom and if the question was what is a wave, then definitely one student would have shown this like this, that wave travels like this. Of course you are correct, because wave nature we generally show it like this, wave. Okay. So these are few characteristics which are associated with wave. Now particle means what are the things which come to your mind. Particle means it has certain mass. It may be negligible, it may be very small, the mass may be very less, like quantity wise. So particle has some mass, and if it has mass, definitely it will occupy space, correct? If the particle is in motion, we say that it has velocity, it has momentum. So these are the few characteristics which are related to particle nature. Okay, so in this chapter we are learning about dual nature of radiations and matter. Matter means what? Matter means these particles, whatever you are seeing around you. The basic definition which you have learnt is matter is something which has a mass and it occupies space, right? So anything which has mass, this has certain mass, it will occupy some space, it is matter. Take a small particle, it has certain mass, and if you place somewhere here, then it will occupy that space, correct? So this is what it is about particle. Okay, now radiation means generally what we get in our mind, the rays which are coming from the sun, or there is a light source, the radiations or the rays are coming from that light source. Now dual nature means, from this chapter we are learning that if radiations have wave nature, we say that sun rays travel to the earth in the form of wave. If those radiations are of wave nature, then definitely they are of particle nature also. And particles, which particles we know? We know electron, we know proton. These are the particles, elementary particles which we know. If these are exhibiting particle nature, then they must exhibit wave nature also. Not both at a time, but they exhibit both the natures, like wave nature and particle nature. Okay, I hope you have now some idea about dual nature. It means in the entire universe, anything which is acting as wave will also act as particle, and anything which is acting as particle will also act as wave. It means everything is of dual nature, be it radiations or matter. Okay, so now if we are talking about dual nature, here we have learnt about photoelectric effect, correct? Now if for wave nature, light, if you particularly take light, okay, how with the help of which processes or experiments can you say the light is of wave nature? We have learnt in wave optics that light exhibits interference. So from interference you can explain that light is of wave nature basically. And diffraction, interference, diffraction. So these are the examples for wave nature. I mean, these are the processes or the phenomena where you can say that light is of wave nature with the help of these phenomena. Particle nature means, just now in the chapter, in the last video, we have learnt about photoelectric effect. What we learnt? Photon, light photon. Photon is nothing but light particle. It is incident on a surface, metal surface. All of its energy is being transferred to the electron. Electron takes its energy and then it will come out from the surface. Basically here we considered that, or the experiment photoelectric effect proves that light is of particle nature. This is one experiment to prove the particle nature of light. Similarly, there is one more, Compton effect. It is not there for your syllabus, but just you can remember the name, Compton effect. So Compton effect also gives the evidence of particle nature of light. Okay, so for wave nature, or to prove the wave nature of light, you can perform the experiments on interference and diffraction. So for proving the wave nature of light, you can prove the interference and diffraction pattern that proves the wave nature of light. And for particle nature, you can give the example of photoelectric effect and Compton effect. Okay, so this is the introduction part. Now in particle nature, we are mainly concerned with this because we are learning about photoelectric effect in this chapter. In particle nature, what we know according to Max Planck, that light radiations consist of small packets of energy which he labeled it as quanta. It means one photon, which we say. Okay, and each photon has certain energy. We also know the formula for energy of a photon, E is equal to h nu. Correct? So now further, let us study about photons now. It means let us study where the light is exhibiting the particle nature, and those light particles are called as photons. Okay, so what is a photon? Basically, if the question is asked to you, what is a photon, then you can say that It is a packet of light energy. It is a packet of light energy, or a packet of light energy is called as a photon. It has an energy of E is equal to h nu. Okay, you can call it as photon, or you can call it as quantum also, or quanta also. Sorry. Next is, let us learn few characteristics of these photons. Okay, characteristics of these photons. First characteristic, very basic, which you can say is, radiations consist of packets of energy, that is called as photon. This is the first characteristic. What is a photon? Photon is nothing but a packet of energy, which we call it as quanta also. Okay, that is first characteristics of this particle, that is radiations consist of packets of energy which are called as photons, or you can write quanta also. This is the first characteristics. Okay. Now the next characteristic is, the photons travel with the speed of light. Of course, you must agree with this, because what are photons? Photons are nothing but light particles. Definitely they will travel with the velocity of light. What is the velocity of light? C is equal to, what we write the value? 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. This is the velocity of light denoted by C. So the next characteristics of photon, you can write that the photons travel with the velocity of light. The photons travel with the velocity of light. Okay, so this is one more characteristic. Third characteristic is, the energy of each photon is given by E is equal to h nu. This we are learning since from the second video lecture, I think. From there, more often, regularly I am using this equation, E is equal to h nu. What is that E? E is nothing but the energy of one photon, or energy of one packet of light, you can say. So third characteristics, you can write that each photon has an energy E is equal to h nu, or you can write it as E is equal to hf also, where nu is nothing but frequency and f is also nothing but frequency. You can denote frequency with nu or with f. Okay, so this is the third characteristic. Now coming to the fourth characteristics of a photon. What you have to write here, you have to make sentence that each photon has an energy E is equal to h nu, where E is the energy of the photon, h is the Planck's constant, whose value is known, 6.625 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules per second, and f is the frequency of the radiations, that you have to mention in this point or in this characteristics of the photon. Now the next characteristic of the photon. The next characteristic is, the energy of photon is directly proportional to its frequency. If you see this equation, I hope you are able to see, E is equal to h nu you have, or hf you have. What is h? It is a constant. So if you remove that constant, just put a proportionality sign, we can see that E is directly proportional to nu, or E is directly proportional to f. So you can make a sentence out of it that energy of the photon is directly proportional to the frequency of the photon. If the frequency is more, definitely the energy will be more. It means this is one more characteristic of the photon. The next one, momentum of the photon is given by, what is the formula for momentum? Generally, what formula we use for momentum? P is equal to m into v, we have, correct? In your first year or 11th class physics, you have learnt this. P is equal to m into v, where m is the mass and v is the velocity. Now here you can write, we know that velocity of one of the characteristic which we have written is velocity of the photon is same as the velocity of light, and velocity of light is denoted by c. So how you can write? P is equal to m into c. Next, P is equal to m into c, where c is the velocity of light. I have just replaced this v with c here. Okay. So this is what you can make the sentence. The momentum of the photon is given by P is equal to m into c, where m is mass and c is the velocity. Okay. So now next, one more equation which you can write for momentum is P is equal to h upon lambda. From where you have written this? P is equal to h upon lambda. You have any idea from where I have written this? Yes. P is equal to h upon lambda. This is one more form of writing the momentum of the photon. I will show these relations later. Okay. Now for now remember the characteristic, fifth characteristic is that the photon, momentum of the photon is given by P is equal to mc or P is equal to h upon lambda. Next characteristic is photons are electrically neutral. But how this was been proved that photons do not have any charge? This was being proved. I hope you remember the properties of charges from first chapter, that is electric field, electric charges and fields. One property of charge which you have, of course there are many properties like charges repel, unlike charges attract, charges are quantized, conserved, all those. One of the property of charges is that charges in motion produce magnetic field and charges at rest will have electric field. Now, if there is a photon, for example this is a photon. Now if I place the photon in the electric field, for example plus minus, this is the direction of electric field. If there was a charged particle present here, if for example instead of photon, if there was an electron here, okay, what is the charge of the electron? It is negative, which we take. Direction of electric field is this. If you remember the electric field intensity formula, E is equal to F upon Q, then F is equal to E into Q. It means if you place a charge in the electric field, a force will be applied on that charge according to this formula. It is there in the first chapter only. This is for a charged particle, remember. Okay, so for this what will happen? The electron will get deflected. It will go this side, correct? Because it is negatively charged. This side it is positive potential. And in magnetic field also, a charged particle will travel a circular path because of magnetic field. That you will learn further in the chapters. I guess 4th or 5th chapter it is there. Principle of cyclotron. In cyclotron it is there. Okay. Because of magnetic field, the charged particle moves in the circular path. It means it gets deflected. It is not going to act as it was earlier. In electric field as well as in magnetic field, we are able to see that when a charged particle is placed, be it electron or you can take any positive charged particle also, proton, like proton, any charged particle will get deflected because of electric or magnetic field. This is what we see. But if we have placed the photon, this is photon, in electric field or magnetic field, it has not deflected from its path or from its position. What does it indicate? Electric field and magnetic field could not do anything to the photon. It means neither the photon is positively charged nor it is negatively charged. So what we call then? It as neutral. Hence, this is one more characteristic of photon, that the photons are electrically neutral. I hope that is clear. If not, definitely you have comment box. Please ask your comments there. I mean doubts there in the comment box. Comment it, will answer. Okay. So next, the last property of the photon is the rest mass of the photon is 0. The rest mass of the photon is 0. Now what is this thing? I'll make you understand this by using an equation from Einstein's theory of relativity. It is not there for, the theory of relativity is not there for your syllabus. From there we are going to take a simple equation. Okay. From Einstein's theory of relativity, the formula for mass is m is equal to m naught upon under root of 1 minus v square upon c square. Okay, this is a formula, just remember this. This is from Einstein's theory of relativity. Theory of relativity was given by Einstein. Okay. So now, where m is the mass, m naught is the rest mass, v is the velocity of the particle and c is the velocity of the light. Okay. Now if I make m naught as subject, m, this will cross multiply here, 1 minus v square upon c square. Correct? Where m naught is the rest mass. We are concerned with this, so I have made this as subject. Now for a photon, we have learnt the one characteristics of the photon. Before that, photons travel with the velocity of light. That is v is equal to c for photon. Simple, right? Now substitute that in this equation, m into under root of 1 minus, do anything, write c square here or v square, don't change both. At any one place you just substitute the value. Okay, let me write the velocity v square as c square. For photon, v is nothing but c square by c square. This is 1 minus 1, 0. Whole thing will become 0. So what? The rest mass of the photon is 0. It means photon is always in motion. Photon is always traveling. Okay, because if it comes to rest, then its mass will become 0. That is the contradictory part, but photon is always traveling or it is always in motion. That is the meaning. Okay, so I hope these characteristics of photon are clear for you now. Okay, so for 3 marks or 2 marks, the question has been appeared in final exam that give or write any 2 characteristics of photon or write any 3 characteristics of photon, so you can pick any from this. Okay, so now let us see few about one more topic is there, matter waves. Okay, we will learn about it in the same video. The topic is very small. So next is about de Broglie hypothesis. So de Broglie is the name of a physicist. De Broglie hypothesis. De Broglie made a suggestion like radiation matter, like radiations are of dual nature, matter is also of dual nature, like I explained initially in this video, this all thing. This is the de Broglie idea, okay, hypothesis. According to him, if radiations are exhibiting dual nature, जैसे कि we have seen light exhibits dual nature, particle as well as wave nature, then the matter should also exhibit the dual nature. Matter means what? Now don't say anything which occupies space, which has mass. Okay, of course that definition is correct, but matter means take any particle, electron, proton, any particle. Okay, so that also exhibits, it is a particle nature, no? So according to him, that should also exhibit wave nature. Okay. Now de Broglie has proposed the waves called as matter waves. Matter means we abhi tak kya tha? Particles we used to assume, correct? Let us see what are matter waves. Matter waves, they are also called as de Broglie waves also. Okay, so these are the waves which are associated with the moving material particles. Okay, so if there are some moving material particles, they are in motion, then the waves which are associated with them are called as matter waves or de Broglie waves. Okay, and the wavelength which is associated with those moving material particles is called as de Broglie wavelength. What are matter waves? The waves associated with the moving material particles. Now, if the moving material particles have waves, definitely they will have wavelength. So, the wavelength associated with those moving matter waves or the matter waves simply, because matter waves are nothing but the moving material particles. So, the wavelength associated with the matter waves or de Broglie waves is called as de Broglie wavelength. Okay. So, now there are many expressions for de Broglie wavelength, one in terms of the other. So, I will write one by one for you. First, I will write expression for de Broglie wavelength. So, this let us make it as main heading. Of a photon, expression for de Broglie wavelength of a photon is given by lambda is equal to h upon m into c, where lambda is de Broglie wavelength, h is Planck's constant, m is mass of the photon and c is the velocity of the photon. These terms you have to explain here. Okay, this is one equation. There is one more equation or expression for de Broglie wavelength. Expression for de Broglie wavelength of a particle. This is of a photon. No, it is particularly for a photon. For any particle, not only photon, if you take any other particle also, then the expression for de Broglie wavelength is given by, of a particle means it is in general, this is particularly for photon, it is given by lambda is equal to h upon m into v. Here just you have replaced c with v because c is velocity of light, photon travels with velocity of light, so we have taken c here, he has taken c here. V means velocity of that particular particle, it may be electron, it may be proton or any other particle. Okay, this is one equation. Later after the equation, what you have to make the statements here, that lambda is de Broglie wavelength, h is Planck's constant, m is mass of the particle, v is the velocity of the particle. There is de Broglie wavelength in terms of kinetic energy of particle. In terms of kinetic energy of particle. What is that equation? It is given by lambda is equal to h upon under root of 2m ek. Or simply in some books they write k. K is nothing but kinetic energy. Okay. So again mention the terms here. Next is expression for de Broglie wavelength in terms of accelerating potential. In terms of accelerating potential. The expression is given by lambda is equal to h upon under root of 2mq into v, where q is the charge of the particle, v is the velocity, m is the mass of the particle. One more expression is there. De Broglie wavelength in terms of accelerating potential, particularly for electron. For electron, what changes you have to make? Just in place of q, you have to write E, because charge of the electron we write it as E. Okay, so these are the expression for de Broglie wavelength in terms of some other quantities. One is for photon, one is for particle in general, in terms of kinetic energy, in terms of accelerating potential, in terms of accelerating potential for an electron. Okay, now energy of a photon. Okay, there are two colors, for example red and violet. For which color the energy will be more? Yes? Okay, we have energy of photon equation as E is equal to h nu or hf, right? It means E is directly proportional to nu, that is frequency. In terms of violet and red, whose frequency is more? The frequency of violet, definitely. Violet photon will have more energy because energy of the photon is directly proportional to the frequency. Okay, so this is about today's class. I hope it is clear. Tomorrow will be the last lecture of this class, which is division and Germer experiment. That will complete the chapter. Then we will move to problem sums of the chapter. If you have any doubts, please ask it in comments. And if you are MAMPU college student, please you can WhatsApp me. I'll try to clear your doubts. Thank you so much for watching the video.